All right. So hello, everyone. I'm here today with Alberto Martinez. He's a VP of Compute Software Strategy for Qualcomm. We're here at the Deep Dive Architecture event in San Diego with Qualcomm. And had the pleasure of interviewing Alberto.
Thank you, David.
Alberto, I have a few questions for you. Well, in terms of how do you position Snapdragon X2 Elite and X2 Elite Extreme broader AI PC landscape versus x86 competitors and Apple Silicon?
Okay, so the first question is, when we look at competition, we look at Apple as our competition. In reality, when we show numbers against x86, it's an artifact of the ecosystem. But when we design our products, the target competitor is Apple, and Apple has risen the bar, right? Internal power efficiency, and that's our trademark, right? So they are encroaching in a power efficiency space that we believe we are strong, right? So when we look at the roadmap and the products, it's hard to place a specific product we're going in. So if we talk about x86, when you look at x86, the way the product is classified is, as you probably hear Guy's CRM presentation today, he very eloquently expressed that an artifact of the position of x86 products is the limitations in power distribution of a given SoC. Therefore, you have to apply a logic in where to position the product in the market to get guidance to users and OEMs. On the other hand, the way we position our product is we don't assign a terminal target because we are dynamically better across the whole range. Obviously, when you are in a constrained terminal design, the performance of the X2 and the X1 actually will always be better. So there's a gap between X1 and X2 across all the dynamic range of terminal possible designs. So it's up to the OEM to decide, hey, I'm going to use X2 as a premium laptop in this segment and this terminal design. So they can do a super single light, super high performance. It will be every other product in the market, but they are constraining it to 25 watts. Whether another OEM can take X2 and X1 as well, so they have the same behavior. You can take X2 and say, mine an OEM and say, okay, I'm going to take full advantage of the dynamic range of this product. I'm going to design a 80 watts or a 90 watts laptop because that's the space that AI creators operate. And they can decide that. We're not going to constrain it. They decide what is the price point they want to play and what is the terminal design. In x86, they actually segment the product already and price niche price the product across the gamut, which in our mind limits innovation.
By the way, I forgot to congratulate you and the team on being selected as one of Oprah Winfrey's 20 most wanted gifts. Congrats.
So Oprah didn't talk to me.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you for that. I think it's a testament of the power efficiency and the eye capabilities of product. So we are very proud of that achievement as a company, right?
100%. And following up on the last question, how close do you think is the gap now between X2 Elite and top x86 CPUs or Apple's latest M series in terms of real-world workloads like code compilation, media creation, and AI inferences, not just synthetic benchmarks?
Well, again, when you ask that question, you are removing the power efficiency from that phrase. And if you remove power efficiency for that phrase, you are pigeonholing a product in a given range. So you can say x86 has the H, the U, the P's, right? 18, 25, and 40 watts, right? So you ask a very broad question, right? The only thing I can say is X2 Elite is very well set up to be equal or better than any other product in the same segments.
Perfect. Thank you. And along the software front, since Snapdragon X2 Elite targets Windows 11 Copilot PCs, what has been some of the biggest software challenges in bringing an ARM-based AI-centric platform to a predominantly x86 PC software ecosystem?
Well, when you ask about AI, you're actually naming the wrong competitor. Okay, let me tell you why. When you talk about AI, x86 is no architecture that is contending. And the architecture that contends on AI is CUDA. So, and the thing in light, there's no CUDA designs in the PC ecosystem. So there is no competition, I'd say, from the point of view of, at least not yet, in, competition varies over time and products, but there's no competition against X2 and what refers to AI and being able to meet the power efficiencies and the performance that we can achieve across the dynamic range of the product. There's just no competition. You will see that our product segmentation, or no product segmentation, when you select any of the product, because you will see the X2 Elite Extreme and the X2 Elite, there will be other products, right? All of them had 80 tops. All of them are AI capable. We don't want to pigeonhole AI. We don't want to pigeonhole security either, right? So things that they are pillar into the architecture, we don't want to pigeonhole. That is an OEM decision.
One thing that we were fascinated was, at least I was, with Snapdragon Guardian. You've certainly elevated the enterprise aspect that you now have available to potential OEMs. Can you share with us what other improvements are you making for things like fleet management, remote provisioning, IT policy enforcement? Is Guardian that solution for those type of segments?
It is.
Okay.
Yes, it is. Guardian is the underpinning architecture that allows for fleet management and provisioning and so forth. Internal provisioning, the expertise of Qualcomm on provisioning security across the cellular networks, or any network for that matter, is second to none, right? So we bring that expertise and that knowledge of decades of seamless provisioning. So the word here, the important aspect is the impedance. Is you look other products out there, there is a lot of sell of the enterprise category of products, but the actual provision products to execute the capabilities actually is smaller percentage. And you think about it, why? Because there is an impedance on provisioning, right? And make sure that the right key, the right information is distributed across the system and is onboarded, and the fleet management is a task. The people in the PC ecosystem have been trained to reduce impedance. Qualcomm have managed that provisioning impedance seamlessly for decades. So that is an expertise we bring to the table.
Excellent. Now, if you look ahead to, say, 2027, 2028, what does success look like for the Snapdragon X family in the PC market in terms of the maturity or specific class of AI experiences that only the platform can deliver? What do you think that would look like in 2 years from now?
I think AI, as we know it, is evolving so rapidly that is a little bit arrogant for me to try to predict what it's going to look like. Talking to one of my colleagues today, we were riding an autonomous vehicle back to the office, and he said, I couldn't have found an autonomous vehicles be able to hand-free from departure to arrival across, following the GPS, changing lanes, all that thing. And we were commenting that sometimes the rate of change for one is imposed is super hard to fathom. We know we'll be fast. We know it will be violent. We will know that those that adapt the faster will survive. And we want to hedge our bets into our capabilities so we can adapt ourselves to the changes that are going to happen. Today, I think a year ago, agentic was not a word in the vocabulary. True. Actually, 9 months ago was not a word in the vocabulary. Generative AI is a year-old word in the vocabulary is for the consumer. So if you think, and the rate of change, what after agentic, right? When you apply reasoning and interaction, and how you want to participate on that is what is really important. We're going to provide the underpinnings, not only in compute, but in mobile, in XR, in automotive, in wearables and audibles. All those underpinnings we're going to provide with that premise. We're going to be fast to adapt, and we're going to provide the best capabilities that are available that make sense. So in order to help people like you're working the frontier, as Upendra was saying today, right? Those companies are working in frontier models, right? Be able to realize that the capabilities that are nascent on the edge devices and be able to connect them. And we're also working with servers, so the connectivity between servers and edge devices becomes seamless. So that is a proposition. I think that's what we're going to participate in.
Now, clearly, Snapdragon excels at performance per watt. Do you think that there's a feature or a function that's underappreciated of the X2 Elite family, particularly from a software development experience perspective? Do you think there's something that's still underappreciated
From the point of view
of a software or developer point of view?
Well, I think that if you think about it in terms of your previous question, challenge and connecting the two, right? The consumer have been trained that battery life is a gimmick. So the consumers for decades were trained to every OEM claim a battery life and no one can get close to it. It's like a car, even your miles per gallon or miles per charge, and you cannot get even close to it. They were trained that that was it and that was okay. We want to change that. So what part of this appearing with the users is that no, you don't have range anxiety in our devices, right? I don't charge. I can go through the day charge my machine at 9 and go through my day and charge it at 9. And eventually, knowing the far future, I want to be able to go for a weekend without the charger, right? That's the space that I want to be. Eventually, we're getting very close to that range on terms of battery life. So that's what, and when you start imagining that you're unconstrained, also the ecosystem was trained to pay initially for gigahertz, and then in thinking performance instead of battery life. And then you need to start to making think, no, it's performance per watt, right? It's miles per gallon, right? It is efficiency is measured in your output over the input. And that change in the paradigm also causes software developers to start thinking on those terms. Fortunately for Apple, they think on those terms. And the Windows ecosystem, that is a process that we engage, right? To thinking not only at the hardware level, but also at the efficiency of the software and compilers and applications that start thinking mobility first, bring our DNA forward into the ecosystem. And I think that is our challenge.
Excellent. And my final question, let's say you were in an elevator with someone and you wanted to pitch them Snapdragon X2 Elite and the benefits. What would be an elevator pitch in 30 seconds or less of what the platform brings that no one else can bring to the marketplace?
I will ask, do you carry your charger with you?
Yeah, I do.
You do, right? I don't, because I use a Snapdragon X Elite.
Wonderful. Thank you.